I'm almost out.
Take a shot. I'm not. I'm taking like a sip.
I'm taking a sip. That's okay. So communication is important. And to communicate your needs and wants, you have to know what they are.
Right. And that's being honest with your partners, but most importantly, honest with yourself.
We, at the time, did not know what questions to ask.
Right.
And we didn't know how to draw out the very important information.
Which is why experience is important, but you have to get it somewhere.
Right. We were new at it too. We had been in the swinging lifestyle before,
which is a little different,
which is primarily sexual.
Right.
So it was new to us to have somebody who was not ready to drop their clothes.
That would be interesting.
It was an interesting experience.
Now, we've had friends that are asexual.
We love our aces. We love our grays.
Yeah, but the thing is like, it was really hard for me to fathom because where I grew up, it was either, A or B, the end. Yeah. That's all it was. I mean, there really wasn't any gray area, wasn't any, like, I didn't know asexual was the thing until, like, my 20s, probably. I just didn't know it was a thing because of people I was around. But, not listening to your experience with somebody was kind of fascinating.
It was a weird thing because she kept saying, I'm not asexual. And I had such limited experience because I grew up in Podunk, New England. I had such a limited experience that I thought asexual meant no genitalia. That was my experience. This is before the interwebs was really all that popular. It was out there, but a lot of people still hadn't cottoned on to it yet, and I was one of those. It was before all of the world's information was on Google. People were still dealing with Ask and Ask Jeeves and Fetch.
I miss Ask Jeeves.
You remember Fetch?
Yeah, no.
Or Dogpile.
Nobody remembers Dogpile. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I know what it is. But
it was a search engine, but there was this cute little animation of a dog, and you would type in the search, and you'd press enter, and it said fetch. And the dog would literally jump off the screen and go get the information for you, and he'd come back with it.
And that's why
oh my God, Jeeves was so much better.
It was so cute.
But
that's
he gave
ridiculous.
you so much erroneous information.
Yeah, well.
His algorithm was awful.
It's like Bing or whatever the hell it is.
The first search engines would sit there and be like, yeah, we have 2,448 results for your search, and nothing has to do with what you were actually asking for.
The thing is, like with Bing, so here's what you do from a tech point of view. You go to Bing, you type in
Google.com.
Exactly. That's exactly what you do. And then you download Chrome.
No.
Okay, so Jay likes Firefox.
Yes.
Whatever. Anyway.
I'm a Firefox chick.
She is a Firefox chick.
When you have this much awesome all-in-one body, you let them take whatever browser they want.
Why do you think she still has Firefox?
She can have any browser that she wants. So she kept saying, I'm not asexual. I was like, I know, that's fine. And okay, good. She totally was, because I didn't know what asexual meant.
Neither did she.
And neither did she really, because she was an asexual that was sexually repulsed. So the idea of sexual activity completely grossed her out.
Wow.
Even when, and it's not to say that she didn't get aroused, it's not to say that she didn't get to that point, but the actual act itself was a turnoff. So there it was. And there was no amount of emotional connection, so she wasn't Demi. There was no amount of, she was just blasé about it. No, she actually got kind of sick and stressed whenever it was offered. So while she's sitting there saying, no, I'm not asexual, she knew what it meant. She'd obviously looked it up. She'd obviously knew more about it than we did and was not really communicating with us. And
I took my last shot.
Yeah, well, the whole situation ended up poorly, and eventually the whole thing fizzled out to a friendship, and even the friendship couldn't last just because there was so much stuff that went with it. But
there's things that could have been resolved or even preserved or fostered. Like there was a relationship that could have been salvaged if only people would come to terms and be honest with themselves about who they were and what they wanted and how they operated and all of the things. So you're going to encounter a lot of people in your lives and your relationship, and you have to decide, even if they are less experienced and they're not sure where they are, what they are, where they fit in your life, and offer them as much as you can your wisdom and your knowledge to help them see where they are in their life and if you fit with their life.
Right, which is where we come to how we met Crow and X. It's kind of funny. We kind of met them at a Beltane ritual. So, like I say, kinda. We really, like, we
No, we did.
Oh, we did. We met them at a Beltane ritual. And what happened was that there was some weird communication and miscommunication before the Beltane ritual. We had just moved to the area, and I think Crow sent a message about picking up.
It was all a really big miscommunication. I was
which is kind of funny.
He sent a blanket message to a lot of people in the community and sent me one that I thought was like a personal message to ask me to pick somebody up in the community. And at the time I had really super heightened social anxiety, and I don't know why. It just kind of happened all of a sudden. I think it was from all of my years of seclusion in Houston. When we moved here, we, decided that I was going to really push my boundaries. When I find a roadblock that's like keeping me from doing the things that I want to do, I push against it and I make sure that it doesn't keep me from doing the things I want to do.
Just like boxes.
Yep. And so I realized that was a problem. He asked me to pick this person up. I agreed at first, and then something was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So I was like, I don't really think I can pick her up. I don't think I can do this. So I didn't. But we ended up being able to attend anyway. And so... Fast
forward a few months later, and several months later. It was several months. Because at the time, Crow and X were dating a couple. After they had broken up, then we kind of, talked about things and decided to get together. So it was one of those things where, like, you really don't know where you're going to find your next poly partner. It kind of was like, okay, Jay and I were seeking partners, and it never happened. It never worked out. Some things just never worked out.
Well, we were still healing from the previous issue and moving and everything else.
Right. So what ended up happening is we made a friendship. We found a polyamorous community, which was kind of surprising in the area we're in. We found a really cool polyamory community, and going into that community, we ended up discovering Crow and X. But the thing is that you do not know where you're going to find your next poly partner, and shutting things off and shutting people down before you give them a chance is probably not a good idea. So when it comes to shutting somebody out because they're not experienced in poly, or shutting somebody out because they're inexperienced in whatever world you live in, that's not a good idea, not a good way to just be a human, right? Because you don't know where you're going to fall in love. And that's one benefit of polyamory, is the fact that, like, to get polysaturated, you want to be fulfilled. You want to be content with the love you have and the love you share with people. So I wouldn't stop with, like, oh, this person's never in polyamory. Well, you don't know if it's going to work out or not. You don't know if it's going to be a good thing, it's going to be a bad thing. You don't know how it's going to end up. Shit's going to happen. That's life. Shit will happen. Shit will fall apart. Things will get good, things will get bad, things will get ugly, things will get serious, and things will get beautiful.
And sometimes it really sucks.
Oh, God, it does.
But honestly, if I never would have thought that I would have been with prior existing couple.
Right.
Especially a male. But they both caught my attention. And so I pursued the relationship, and I had to explore different parts of myself, especially when exploring feelings for Crow.
It was
exploring
difficult.
Feelings for women were familiar to me, but actually delving into the different parts of exploring things with another male was very foreign. And so I allowed that to develop because that's the direction it was heading in. It's now turned into a very beautiful thing.
Right. So what? Oh, they're touching each other.
Oh, I'm touching her.
He's touching. He's rubbing her shoulder. Oh, it's so sweet. Come, Persian. Compersion. So, and from my point of view, seeing the care and affection and love that these two have for each other is great. Like Jay said, when it comes to like hearing the unicorn hunting, the this, the that, depends on what your goal is.
Just do your thing. Be a decent human being.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Like, don't expect people to fit into your boxes. I mean, people say that, but then like, of course you want them to fit into your freaking boxes. Like you want people to check off the tick marks that you have in your life, that you have requirements of. So you have all these requirements and things that you want, but be upfront about them. Don't be deceptive. Don't be manipulative, or just be very transparent and be open, because at the time, I really wasn't looking for anything other than community and connection. And what I found was what I hope is going to be a lifetime of connection. Even if one of the people that we started with this endeavor on are not part of the equation anymore, it opened my life into a whole new world with more children and another husband and just a better life in general.
And I think Jay said a very good word: connection. It's when you find your connection with somebody that you can't deny that connection. You can't deny that there's something between you and this other person, whether they're new to poly, whether they're experienced poly, whether they're swingers, whether they're asexual, whether they're whatever. If you find a connection with somebody, you may find your love, and it could be an additional love. It could be a friendship love. It could be anything. So don't shut down somebody because they're inexperienced or because they're part of this lifestyle or that lifestyle or whatever. Polyamory is about love, and it's about loving each other, and it's about being real. It's about being human and caring.
One of my favorite sayings is that all that you want is on the other side of fear. And we talk to the kids. Actually, I spoke to one of the kids today about that very thing. They were super nervous about an audition and, different things that they were experiencing. And she agreed. And, she confirmed that she has pushed herself and she has gone beyond the fear, and that it's perfectly okay to be afraid. But it's not okay to let that fear hold you back from what you love and what you're passionate about and what you want to pursue in life. Because then you're going to wind up on your deathbed miserable and thinking about all of the things that you wish you would have done. And I never want any of us or any of our children to experience that. I want them to have been open to experiences that would enhance their lives. Is there going to be pain? Of course. Of course, with anything, everything in life, there's pain. But with everything in life, there's also beauty and wonder and enchantment and magic. And you have to just find it.
And I think on that note, we should probably sign off for tonight.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for our 10th episode. And we have a lot of fun doing these, and we're so glad that you join us. And remember, out there, everyone who listens to us, keeping it polyamorous means
keeping it poly real.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Good night, good morning, whatever it is, at your location, the time you're listening to this. So, let me do the housekeeping. If you're looking to find us, poly-saturated.com. You can find us on Facebook. Just search up Polysaturated. If you're looking for us on Twitter, and if you want to talk to me, because Jay and Crew will not do Twitter yet.
I'm thinking about it.
She's thinking about it.
I'm planting the seeds.
I'm not even thinking
I have actually thought about it, and I haven't actually acted on it. The seeds have not bloomed yet.
It's not even a blip on my radar. It's not
So basically what they're saying is, if you're going to talk to anybody on Twitter, it'll be me.
It'll be Zan. If you want to talk to anyone else, like on Facebook, it will be Jay.
It'll be Jay.
It'll be Jay. It'll be me. I will be responding.
If you
We're
like
trying
emojis.
to get better about sending, our signature along with our responses.
Right.
So if you want to talk to Crow, probably the best bet is carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
Possibly smoke signals.
Smoke signals probably be the best bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is a shaman. So yeah, but anyway, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for